Okay, but if there's no threat that, hey, we're going to take away your stipend if you don't do a good job, why should they do the work at all?
Oh, well, there is a threat. So our proposal, as you know, doesn't actually remove the regulatory elements of the current MCC officer definition. What would happen is ONEC would continue to meet. ONEC is the, what does ONEC stand for?
Officer Nominations and Evaluation Committee.
Right. So ONEC would continue to evaluate officers and would communicate with the human resources officer about any sort of inadequacy in the officer performance. And then the human resources officer would just simply not give that officer credit for that month. So then the House would have a number of responses available. It could increase the amount of work it does that month. It could sanction the officer. Um, if we choose to have a monetary punishment or some sort of disincentive for this sort of thing, then the House could ask the officer to pay for that, their portion of the House's penalty. It's basically officers, instead of being accountable to this entire amorphous group of people, become accountable to those people they share their hallways and their bathrooms and their kitchens with.
That does seem like a more effective regulatory structure.
So Ben, who's going to be regulating the human resources officer?
ONEC will regulate the performance of the human resources officer.
I see. And so what kinds of responsibilities will ONEC be using to evaluate the...
Well, the human resources officer has an obligation to attempt to spread out the work that it takes to run MCC by the distribution formula that's part of the proposal.
Right.
He or she will also have the responsibility of being a very strong communicator, publishing in every board packet and every sparklegram the latest information about how the system's going, how it's working, who's doing their job, and who isn't.
So not only ONEC, but indeed the entire community will have a good sense of what the officer's doing.
Absolutely.
Right, right. Now, what do you think about this officer attending all regularly scheduled meetings in the organization?
Well, I think that would be unnecessary, actually. The HRO position isn't about attending meetings and making decisions. The HRO position is about getting to know the community, what its needs are, what talents are out there, and finding a way to match needs with talents.
So, for example, current officers are supposed to attend, is it one dinner per month, or is it 2 dinners per month? So eventually, the idea is that current officers will circulate throughout the entire community through 1 dinner throughout the entire year, or the entire length of their year-long term. Now, this position is a different situation, because this is all about the people and getting out there and coordinating people's work and where the community's at. So I envision the human resources officer circulating much more widely. And so the question is, do we want them to spend 3 hours every other week in a board meeting, or do we want them to spend that time getting to know the community? And I would say we want the officer to spend time in the community.
I'm with you on that, Rick.
Yeah.